Hi, Critic of Creation here. I've seen my fair share of creationist propaganda and scientific literacy over the years, but here is perhaps one of the most short-sighted videos I've ever borne witness to.
Hey everyone, it's TVC Mario, and you're here for a video that I wanted to make to compare Big Bang, the theory of evolution, and the origin of the universe, that ridiculous nonsense, versus intelligent design.
Okay, so we're off to a good start. I'm going to ignore his bias in regards to this and instead point out that the Big Bang and theory of evolution are not connected. The Big Bang details the origins of the universe. The theory of evolution by natural selection is a process of gradual change either via inherited physical or behavioral traits.
And what I want to show you here is that intelligent design is so much more rational, so much more logical, it doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense to compare the two, but I have a feeling that we have a very different reasoning for this.
And I cannot even believe that we live in a society here where this is even a debate. But then again, you know what? Doesn't surprise me, since the government makes sure to indoctrinate the kids with this false theory of evolution and they brainwash them to make them think that it's scientific fact when it's not. It's a fairy tale.
I can't believe this is a debate either. Indoctrination is, by most definitions, teaching people to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. Science does not indoctrinate people to its beliefs if they could in fact be called beliefs. It instead invites people to ask questions and question everything, and if by that process they prove something to be untrue, then science changes. I'll tell you what does indoctrinate people: religion. Religion, time and again, teaches those who follow it not to ask questions and blindly follow the doctrine set down. Evolution is a scientific fact because it is backed up by scientific evidence that is open for anyone to question, query, challenge and try to disprove. The Bible is a fairy tale because it has no evidence other than people's beliefs and does not invite any questions from anyone.
And you need more faith to believe in this theory than anything else. So let's get right into it. Now, what's important to recognize here is, what is science? Okay, so if people believe that evolution in the Big Bang is scientific fact, well, let's take a moment here and examine what science actually means by definition. I'll read it to you. The study of the natural world through, and get this is key, observation and experiment.
Ah, great. Trying to disprove all of science by a technicality of wording in one book.
Okay, so those of you out there who just blindly, foolishly believe that the Big Bang and the evolutionary theory is actual science, well, who was there 13.8 billion years ago to observe and experiment on this so that we know it's scientific fact? No one was. No one could have been. So therefore, it is not science. It is a theory, always will be a theory. It's impossible to prove scientifically because science by very definition is observable. So unless someone's observing it, always going to be a theory.
Firstly, I don't know of anyone who blindly or foolishly believes the Big Bang or evolution, but even if they did, it doesn't affect its accuracy. Now, to address this directly, no one was around to witness the Big Bang, nor does anyone pretend to have been, yet you woefully misunderstand the nature of observation in regards to science. We can witness the effects of the Big Bang. Now, let me explain this through a metaphor. Imagine you are walking across a beach and find a burnt log. How did it get there? How did it burn? You didn't observe it, so by your definition, it is only a theory that it was in fact burnt. However, through science, we could look at what surrounded the log. Was it in a pile of other logs that were also burnt, indicating a campfire? We could take the log and perform tests on it to see if it is indigenous to the area or was exposed to some form of accelerant prior to being burnt. Examining the surrounding terrain might reveal evidence of tents being erected or seats being placed on a beach or river, perhaps indicating a fishing trip. A toilet might also have been dug and its contents could be examined, giving yet more evidence of the individuals who were there. If there is alcohol present, for example, it would imply that they are adults. None of this has been observed as per your definition, but as we gather more and more evidence, we are able to create an ever-increasing accurate picture of the circumstances through scientific observation. We can use redshift to observe the effects of the Big Bang. So, in reply, yes, we can observe science regarding the Big Bang. Also, you are using the word theory incorrectly in regards to science.
Okay. So you need a lot of faith to believe in this nonsense, that 13.8 billion years ago there was a great nothing. And this nothing, for no reason, no purpose, just spontaneously, just boom, explodes. And this explosion, this atomic bomb, you could say, somehow bombs create stuff. Okay. This bomb, this explosion goes off, all matter, and
the Big Bang was not an explosion. While I admit that the name would lead people to believe it was an explosion, it was in fact an expansion, and you calling it an explosion just demonstrates your lack of scientific knowledge. No, it wasn't an atomic bomb, and nor does the scientific community say that bombs create stuff. Look, if you're going to try and sway people from a scientific consensus to a religious doctrine, at least understand what you are talking about, because all you are doing at the moment is making yourself look uninformed.
And then all the intelligent life forms come into existence. I mean, the laws that make my heart govern this body and the cells and the brain function and the way that the wind works and the way that the sun and the moon and the ocean. If we go into the animal kingdom, all the different, man, just sit there and watch Planet Earth for a moment. Look how intelligent our universe is.
Again, the scientific community does not suggest there was a sudden creation of life moments after the Big Bang. Abiogenesis on Earth is estimated at approximately 10 billion years after the Big Bang and did not produce the vast and varying species that are existent today. The reason that this is not suggested is that it is extremely implausible. In fact, only one group suggests this, and that is creationists, who do so without a thread of evidence.
So, they want you to believe that all of this intelligent design that we see in the universe, this obvious intelligence, came about for no reason. No intelligence behind it. Just spontaneous explosion. Boom, bomb goes off 13.8 billion years ago and gives us the entire universe that we have today. This is the stupidest theory in the world.
We don't want you to believe that this is intelligent design. Just because you believe that there is an intelligence behind it all doesn't mean that it's true. I would like to see how you define how stupid a theory is. The theory that there is a magic sky daddy that is all-knowing, all-powerful and all-loving, who created everything over the course of 6 days, subsequently drowned almost everything on Earth apart from 8 humans who have built a physically impossible boat with 2 of each species from all around the world on it, who then went on to repopulate the Earth despite all the challenges it possessed, such as kangaroos getting to Australia and so forth. That the Sky Daddy, who proclaims to be all-caring, is willing to spend the vast majority of send the vast majority of humanity, to a fiery pit in hell to be tortured for all eternity for not worshipping him, despite him already knowing the result before that person was even conceived. And the only way to avoid this punishment is to spend your entire life on your knees grovelling for mercy for the sins that you were originally created with. This, in my opinion, is a stupid theory.
And the majority of you believe it because your school teachers told you it's fact. The textbooks literally lied to you. They had lies in it. And you blindly believed your teacher, and because society and everyone else believes this, you're like, yeah, that's what it is. No.
I've already explained that science invites questions and doesn't stifle new ideas, provided they have evidence to back them up. The reason teachers use the textbooks is because they are filled with scientific fact, not a single religion's group's interpretation of a text. What you are getting science confused with again is religion. That is the book that is full of lies that is taught to you and you blindly believe because your parents or pastor told you it was the truth.
Oh, no. God gave us a brain so that we could use it, okay? We were intelligently designed so that we could use our intelligence, okay? So use it. It doesn't make any sense, okay?
Circular reasoning, you can't justify we are intelligent because we were designed to be intelligent, so we use that intelligence to think that we were designed to be so. It makes no sense, nor is it proof.
Now, let's look at intelligent design. What does intelligent design teach, or the Bible teach? That God, who, you have to understand the nature of God, because you're going to say, well, if God created the universe, then who created God? Ha ha ha, gotcha. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Who created God? What a stupid question. And yes, there are stupid questions. That's a dumb one. Who created God? Do you not even understand the very nature of God? He is Alpha. He is Omega. He is beginning and end. He's eternal. He has no beginning or end. So for you to try and fit him into something that has a beginning, which created things need a beginning, doesn't make any sense. Again, use the intelligent brain that God gave you. And what you're going to see here is that he's eternal. And that makes sense. He's an eternal God who's above us. Just because we can't comprehend him doesn't mean that he doesn't exist.
Your argument is so fundamentally flawed here that I actually had to stop and think about how I was going to point out the errors. Asking a question that is legitimately related to your argument is not stupid. You may believe that your God is eternal and without beginning or end, but that doesn't constitute proof that he is, and if you are going to make constructive arguments, you will have to base it on something other than personal beliefs. In addition, simply stating that it doesn't make sense doesn't mean it actually doesn't make sense. And just because you can't comprehend the science behind the origins of the universe doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Okay? So an intelligent God creating the universe makes sense, because what we do is then we look at the observable universe and we can look at science. Science, in fact, proves an intelligent designer, because everywhere we look in nature, including our own bodies, in, like I said, planet Earth, you go out there and you look at nature and the bugs and how they work and certain insects. It's a miracle. God has created intelligent designs everywhere.
Yes, to an uneducated mind it would look miraculous. The way that species interact with one another in the natural world is amazing, but it is not evidence of intelligent design. Species that fail to thrive in their environment have gone extinct, which means that the ones that are left are in some way successful, either as hunters, producing in large enough numbers to continue the species, hiding from predators, and so forth. An intelligent designer would surely make it so that no species went extinct as a result of their failures in the natural world. This argument may have been valid 500 years ago when we didn't understand how the natural world worked, and so it was simply easier to shift credit onto a creator.
Now, what's so funny too is even the biggest people who push this always fall back with dumb stuff, okay? You have Richard Dawkins, and he goes out and he says, and I just heard Bill Nye say the same thing, it's not God that created the universe, but it could be aliens. Why is he saying that? Let's pause for a moment here, okay? Why are these guys who for so long, okay, have said there's no intelligent designer, are now starting to backtrack a little bit and saying, well, we might be intelligently designed, but it's not the God of the Bible. No, it's little green Martian men who come and fly in their spaceships. They created us.
Wow, talk about taking something out of context to fit your agenda. Dawkins did not say that aliens created. What he said was that it was conceivable that life on this planet started as a result of microorganisms being transported here. He goes on to explain that even if this was true, then the aliens themselves would have been subjected to Darwinian evolution because intelligent design can never be the ultimate explanation. Science does not disregard ideas just because they don't fit in with a predetermined ideology. At this moment, there is no evidence to suggest that life on Earth was formed as a result of it being transferred here from another planet. It's just a hypothesis that cannot yet be tested. And even if in the future it is tested and proven to be true, it doesn't mean we were actually created by aliens, merely that the origin of life was brought here from somewhere else. Doesn't explain where life originated from, and nor does it mean we were designed by an intelligent species. Finally, even if we were designed by an alien species, which no one is suggesting is to the case, what would be the difference between that and being created by an invisible entity, other than the fact that the aliens have left us to determine our own lives and not require us to grovel or be tortured for all eternity? I'm guessing there's the same amount of evidence for both of these possibilities.
You see what they just did? And this is key for you to get. They just disproved their own theory that they've been standing for forever. Why? Because if Martians created us, that means intelligent design is right. That we were intelligently designed by something. You might think it's little green Martians. I think it's an almighty God who has no beginning and no end. The Alpha, the Omega, the Almighty, the Great Father. Oh, he is the one who created it. Not little green goblins or Martians or whatever the heck you want to believe. Little aliens created us as some experiment or some ridiculous thing like that.
Oh! Contradictions galore. If we were created intelligently by aliens, which no one is actually claiming, that wouldn't mean we were created by your God. It seems virtually impossible considering the amount of evidence we have to demonstrate our evolution, but if it is somehow true and could be proven, science would accept that. And no one disproved their theory. They simply put forward a hypothesis regarding how life was created on Earth.
Okay, so you see, even the main leaders in this evolution movement have to fumble logically on their own theory and have to say that, well, you know what, it might be that we're intelligently designed by Martians. Because they know science points to intelligent design, okay?
There is no evolution movement. We don't go to churches, nor do we follow our lives to a set of criteria. That's religion you're thinking of again. Yes, there are prominent scientists and thinkers who discuss evolution and put forward new ideas regarding its finer details, but those individuals are subject to the same scrutiny and cross-examination as everyone else. Science, and by this I mean actual science done by people who understand what it is, points to anything but intelligent design.
So I just wanted to go ahead and just go through this because I know so many people get stuck up on this. You go to school, especially you young people, and you'll run into that atheist and he thinks he knows everything. It's so funny. Their heads are puffed up, but they don't know anything. It's hilarious. And they'll come up to you and be like, "Well, don't you know? It's scientific fact." No, it's not, buddy. No, it's not. No. I know you want to keep believing your textbooks. I know you want to keep believing your t-shirts and what's popular in school. And you want to believe what they tell you, but guess what? They're lying to you. They're straight up lying. And it's not fact. It is not science. It's a stupid theory that takes massive amounts of faith to believe in.
I'm waiting for the evidence you are going to provide to demonstrate that it's all a lie, because all you've done so far is say that it's not true, that we're being deceived, and for what reasons you haven't really made clear. I don't think anyone wants to believe in evolution. We just do, because of the overwhelming amount of evidence that's presented in its favour. And also, I'm not sure what school you went to, but believing in evolution certainly didn't make you popular in the schools that I've been in.
Unobservable 13.8 billion years ago, an explosion happened for no reason. Got bang! And everything that's intelligent. Look at the intelligence here. Okay? Look at the way that my brain is sending, okay, specific things to my mouth to speak out, and this is communication, and then there's words. And then even my saliva, there's a mechanism in my body, this intelligently designed mechanism. Okay, even my skin. Everything is intelligently designed. Open your eyes.
I'm looking for intelligence, but I'm simply not seeing any. I mean, that's not fair. You might be a very intelligent person, but the fact is you are simply choosing not to look at the evidence. All of the things you have just described can be explained by science.
The Bible literally says that the creation itself lets us know we can't be ignorant. You're not going to be able to stand in front of God and tell him, oh, I didn't recognize you're real. You're looking at the evidence everywhere. You are evidence that you were created by an intelligent designer.
So your evidence that we were all created by an intelligent designer is to simply go and look. I'm looking, and all I see is a product of evolution that is backed up by science. I don't know, maybe I'm not looking correctly.
You're supposed to be intelligent. So of course you had to have some type of intelligent designer. You didn't come out of an explosion. How stupid is that? An explosion created intelligent life. And then over the span of billions and billions of years, things just started to form. Now this isn't observable either. So when you have evolution and you have this concept of macro evolution, that one species evolved into another kind of species, not observable. There's never been anyone to witness.
There is a tremendous amount of evidence that can be observed. The fossil record demonstrates evolution, and even with your very tenuous grasp on what observed means in the scientific sense, there was a series of experiments done on what is now commonly known as nylon-eating bacteria that was witnessed and accurately demonstrated by how evolution by natural selection works.
The missing links are never found, okay? We don't see transitions going from one species to another. One thing that does exist is microevolution, the variations between different species, I would say kinds, but nothing like an ape turning into a human. And I'll just say, what happened to those other apes? Are they the stupid apes? They couldn't evolve? Those are the dumb monkeys? Like, come on. So dumb. So dumb.
The old, if we evolved from apes, why are there still apes argument. Firstly, this demonstrates your utter lack of understanding of evolution. We didn't evolve from apes, we evolved from a common ancestor, and at one point in our history, for various reasons, we were split off from that group and evolved differently. There are plenty of fossils to demonstrate this transition.
I wanted to just put this out there because the Big Bang evolutionary atheistic philosophy is stupid. These people are puffed up on their own stupidity. And because we have a school system and a society that, you know, is anti-God, because the Bible says that this world is anti-God, they hate God, they suppress the truth and unrighteousness. These guys actually think they're smart when they believe this, when believing this is an insult against your intelligent designer who created you to use your brain and be intelligent. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Stay vigilant. Fear no evil.
Right, so that's the end of the video. I suppose it was naive of me to come into this expecting actual evidence to suggest why we were intelligently designed. As far as I can understand, your argument switches between 2 points of view. The Bible says we are, so it must be true, and if you don't believe my holy book, you are stupid regardless of the amount of proof you are able to provide. I'm sorry, this is an F for utter abject failure from me. If you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up and leave comments below. Now, I'm off to go and drown the depression this video has caused for me in a bottle of rum.